Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including Blue Beetle. It's arrived, and we're going to talk about the early buzz and take a look at what the Hollywood is doing when it comes to lessons that can be learned from the Barbie movie. Are they misguided? Some guy sure is. We'll talk about that. AI in Hollywood, Disney Star Wars. How much did Disney blow on Willow? Quite a bit, actually. And that's one of the problems with Hollywood right now that I'll be shaking my finger at today. But we start off today by taking a look at that Blue Beetle. And what's the buzz? Let's take a look. Blue Beetle. How grassroots backers are trying to boost the Latino-led superhero movie. Okay, so Blue Beetle opens today, guys. And are you going to go and see it? I am booked. My tickets are booked. I am booked for the 4 p.m. show today in the AVX Theater. So it's going to be a bigger screen, louder sound. I'm booked right here. There's only 3 other people booked as of now, but that's the early show. So hopefully the evening show is hopefully the evening show is a little bit more. Probably not, but whatever. I'm seeing it. So, how grassroots backers are trying to boost the Latino-led superhero movie. Grassroots backers? What the heck is that? Now, as Blue Beetle arrives on August 18th, the actor won't be on the red carpet premiere. Yeah, we know that. Blue Beetle is the first major live-action release to bow since the actors' strike. It's heartbreaking, director Angel Manuel Soto says his cast not being able to promote the film. Yeah, it is. And it's a bummer because it needs to have that word of mouth going for it, right? Okay, so hopes are high for the Latino community. The film was originally developed for HBO Max. Yes, it was. It was going to be straight to streaming on Max, and then they said, well, this is good enough for a theatrical release. Why are we going to turn our backs on some of that cheddar? Right? That's where the real money is made, not on streaming services. So Latino representation looked to be on the upswing. We were hopeful that our long overdue cultural moment had finally arrived. Wrote 27 Latino advocacy groups. Wow. Guys, it's here. Let's take a look at the tomato meter. 82% by critics. Only 85 reviews, though. That's good. That bodes well, right? Now, the embargo must have dropped late last night because when we checked it yesterday, it was still at nothing. So let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews and see what people are saying. Associated Press said they liked it. Even if a low-stakes, fairly derivative superhero movie like this can charm thanks to its warm Hispanic perspective and winning supporting cast, there's plenty of hope yet for the genre, bugs and all. Okay, so Associated Press like this. The Irish Times says, whereas Jamie may come from a different... What the... Stop that. Where were we at? Irish Times, sorry. Whereas Jamie may come from a different place to most heroes of superhero flicks, nothing sets the Blue Beetle itself apart from the dozens of competing magical brawlers we have endured over the past 2 decades. What does that mean? Does that mean like it's generic? New York Times, this unremarkable story, along with cheap-looking visual effects. Oh God, no, Jesus, that's not good. Cheap-looking visual effects? Guys, we just endured that for the Flash movie, and I think I was one of the few people that actually let it pass a little bit, except for that baby scene. Cheap-looking visual effects is not what you want to have people saying coming out of your movie. And Soto's colorless direction is a prime example of somnambulist. What the heck filmmaking and lulls the audience into a mindless stupor. I'm going to have to take a look at what this word is. Somnambulist? Someone who walks about in their sleep. Somnambulist. So we take a look at the Cambridge Dictionary. Where's Funkin' Wagnalls? Merriam-Webster. Let's take. They're usually okay. See what they say here.
Somnambulism.
Somnambulism. Somnambulism. So, big word, is a prime example of somnambulism filmmaking at its lulls. Whatever. Move on, James. Let's get back to people who liked it. RogerEbert.com. The heartwarming and crowd-pleasing comic book flick is less serious and more colorful than the tonally dour mood of many contemporary superhero films. Xolo Mariduena was not only perfectly cast for this role, but he also gave a solid performance. Well, that's good. Yeah, because when you cast somebody in your lead, you hope that they can bring the goods, right? I'm still looking forward to it. I think I'm more or less braced for it to be. Sadly, it's probably not going to do all that well, guys. There's just no buzz, despite critics saying that they like it. It doesn't really mean that much, which kind of sucks. Hopefully this guy does well. Hopefully I come out at 6:00 tonight out of the theater and I got like a big smile on my face. Pay attention for my straight out of the theater reaction later on tonight, guys. Yeah, so this was originally supposed to be on the streaming service, and I don't know, man. Artelas Mikey says the critics scored Blue Beetle higher than Heart of Stone. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. And enjoyed Heart of Stone. Yeah, I liked Heart of Stone as well. Blue Beetle though is next on the docket, so hopefully tomorrow when I'll do my formal review during the show tomorrow, and I think I'm going to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tomorrow as well, because my niece and nephew are going to go see it, so I might tag along for that. Well, let's see. But Blue Beetle tonight, 4 p.m. I'm going to see it. Hopefully it delivers. The questionable visual effects comment got me a little bit. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But it's not the only movie opening up this weekend. Strays is also opening up. It had some advanced previews yesterday, and 54% by critics is not a good sign. Now, this one I was going to go see on a matinee or maybe even next Tuesday. For cheap Tuesday, I'll go see it, like for half price. Unless they got a weekend show that starts before noon, that's also half price. Isla Fisher's in it? I didn't know that. Did I know that? Randall Park is also in this. We're going to talk about Randall Park here in just a few minutes, because he was he part of Barbie? Or he had a quote about Barbie. I don't know. But Strays. Let's see what they said here. Greenbaum may have studied at Oxford and Cornell universities, but he's a very immature man. There's something weirdly admirable, though, about his determination to push things up to, and in some cases, past the boundary of good taste. Well, yeah, you knew that watching the trailers that this was going to be a raunchy movie about a dog trying to get back to its owner that didn't appreciate it and is going to bite his member off, right? Very raunchy, very R-rated. Wait, is that the helicopter pilot from Stranger Things? He's in this? What was it? Murray, right? Is that Murray from Stranger Things? Huh. Fascinating. Maybe I will see this movie. Somebody who didn't like it, Washington Post. There are laughs to be had here, yes, but your mileage will vary depending on your tolerance of sophomoric bathroom humor and gratuitous vulgarity. As long as it's not too on the, like, as long as it's not like Michael Bay-ish type humor, right? Where it's like, yeah, you got a big transformer and, ooh, let's put John Turturro underneath these two swinging balls. It's like, get out of here with that. No, this we know it's going to be crass, but hopefully it's earned. Strays doesn't have the legs to go much further than repeating, point out, and depict canine bodily functions. Somebody who did like it. Exuberantly bad taste ode to our Poochie pals, Dumb and Dumber, but for dogs. Okay. Well, you can have your choice this weekend, guys, of going to see either Strays or Blue Beetle. Um, yeah. You also have Last Voyage of Demeter still out there, Meg 2. And as I said, I'm probably going to go see TMNT tomorrow just to check mark it off my list. But then if you didn't want to see those, you still got Barbie and Oppenheimer. So, Blue Beetle Buzz, Strays, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. All right. Barbie still going strong, but is Hollywood taking the wrong lesson from Barbie? Now, I thought this was going to be a very insightful article there up on Joe Blow, but once I started to read it, I found that it was, well, in my opinion, hugely misguided. So let's take a look. Barbie has grossed over $1 billion, and it's well-deserved because it's a good movie. It didn't take long for Mattel to announce that it was developing 14 other movies based on toy properties. Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, Rock'em Sock'em, Robots, Magic 8 Ball. I knew about the Magic 8 Ball movie, and we know about the Hot Wheels movie. I didn't know about American Girl or Uno. They should, like, He-Man is also Mattel, and that should be top priority next. While speaking with Rolling Stone, Randall Park feels that it's getting wrong. Randall Park, that's like that dude we just looked at there on the tomato meter, who weighed in there. Now, he said that we're taking the wrong lesson from Barbie. Oh, are we? Let's just see what his quote says. Quote, I feel like just in general, this industry is taking the wrong lessons. For example, Barbie is this massive blockbuster, and the idea is make more movies about toys. About toys. Well, Mattel is all about toys, so is that the lesson they're taking from? No, he says. Make more movies about by and about women. Make more movies by and about women. Is that what Barbie was about? Partially, but it wasn't like the main focus. At least it wasn't for me. So I that's where I'm saying that I find that this quote here is a little bit misguided. They're taking the wrong lessons about making more toys. Well, it's Mattel. Of course, all of the properties are toys, so it's going to be based all off toys. That's not the thing that I would focus in on about the lessons from Barbie. The lessons from Barbie, and I've said this before on the channel, guys, so you're going to hear it again, is that you got to appeal to the generations of people. Barbie has been around for a long time. So how did they hook in younger people of today with the older people? Well, it was made very clear in, like, what is it, the first dancing sequence, where yeah, you got all these bright colors and dance numbers like that'll appeal to the younger crowd. But then once she stops and says, does anybody think about dying? That immediately appeals to, well, a more mature audience. There's a theme going on there, right? Of course, yes, lots of people think about dying. It's a part of nature. So once she said that, that just immediately grabbed a wider audience, right? And that's what the main lesson should be about, is that you should be with a property like this, you should be appealing to the generational demographics, like the gap there. You should be, your net should be wide enough, right? So hopefully He-Man gets that as well, that He-Man should not just be tailored for kids, because if you make the same mistake, say, as what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has, while it's done well with its merchandise selling, I know that TMNT Mutant Mayhem has done well with its merchandise. It's sold the cups, it's sold the T-shirts, it's sold the lunch boxes and toys and stuff. Like, that's where it's made most of its money, but it hasn't done so well with its box office. In fact, if you look at the numbers for TMNT, it's kind of like, is it really even breaking even? TMNT's it never made the top spot. It made the second spot in the first week, but then it lost to Oppenheimer since. So it's kind of like, it's only made $100 million, and it was a $150 million budget. So it's kind of like, or no, wait, was it $70 million budget? 70 million. Yeah, sorry. So it has crawled over the break-even point, but it's not going to make much more. It's not as if this is going to magically jump up to like 300 million. It's not. It's going to crawl towards the 200 million mark. It's going to lose some steam. It already has. So that's what I would say. Appeal to that wider demographic for Barbie. Not this. They're still making this guy. They're still making movies by women for women, right? That like I don't know. I just feel like that's a little bit narrow-sighted. You're not looking at the. It's a proper. No, how do I say this? It's an improper assessment of the situation. That's what I would say. He's just maybe trying to voice saying, don't make it just about toys. Don't make it all just for kids. Yeah, that's what I would say. Don't make it just for kids. Yeah, it's about a toy, but you can have very adult themes in there, right? Barbie is a brand in many different iterations, says the Mattel CEO. The product lines of Barbie is a very broad brand. In addition to main Barbie figure, she has family. She has lots of elements around in her universe. Yeah. So there was lots there to grab onto, and so does He-Man. So hopefully they can make something happen with that. But what do you guys think about those Barbie Lessons quotes? Am I wrong with all of this stuff, or do you agree with them, Randall Park there, that Hollywood is taking the wrong lessons here? Just bring out toys, but work on the script, because the script is what made Barbie. And how tight it was. Like it looked like somebody had been working on that script for quite some time. Okay, talking about Barbie, just a quick little other note here. Barbie digital release set as film surpasses Dark Knight. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. So what is the digital release? September 5th. Really? That's just around the corner. And you can bet that a lot of reactors out there are going to be doing their reaction videos to it. If it's on Warner Bros, what Warner Bros? It'll be on Google Play, iTunes, and Microsoft Store and Vudu. Yeah, Barbie was good, but I don't want to buy it just to do a reaction. I'll wait till it comes out on its streaming service. I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix or Disney Plus. Probably. I don't know. Hopefully it's not on Paramount Plus. That would suck, because I'm definitely not getting that. After being expelled from Barbie Land, yeah, we know the synopsis here. So digital release September 5th, in case you haven't seen it yet, but $1 billion worth of people saying that they have seen it, said they have, but in case you want to own it on digital release, September 5th is your date. Circle it on your calendars. Let's keep on talking about female directors, because I want to explore that narrative a little bit. Because I kind of take issue with it, because there's still lots of good filmmakers out there, female filmmakers. So what is he talking about? Here are some of the best women directors working today. Well, is Patty Jenkins really working today? Because she got her Wonder Woman project taken out of her hands. She got her Star Wars picture taken out of her hands. She left the Cleopatra picture because she was going to work on the Star Wars picture. So is Patty Jenkins working anymore? I don't know. Let's just take a look at this list. Jane Campion. The piano. Bright Star. Campion. Power of the Dog. Oh yeah, that's what she did. Power of the Dog. The Power of the Dog was good. I didn't find it as memorable as some other people, but I did like the performances in it. The acting of Power of the Dog was there. Maggie Gyllenhaal, yeah, she just directed her first movie or something, right? Or she just directed one. Was that her first though? Lost Daughter, 2001, right? Is that what it is? Lost Daughter, yeah, I remember that. That's cool, and she's a good actress. Kelly Freeman Craig. The Edge of 17 and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Okay, so she's also really good. I like The Edge of 17. That one was cool. And I did appreciate Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Even though I'm a dude, so watching a period piece of a woman coming to age was a little bit weird. But whatever. That's a good pick. Emerald Fennell. What's she done? British TV fanatics have done Call the Midwife and The Crown. Okay, The Danish Girl, Anna Karenina. Sophia, oh yeah, of course, yes, one of my favorites, Sophia Coppola. I really want to watch Marie Antoinette with you guys to show you how good she was, how good she is. She still is. And I want to see her new movie, Priscilla, that she's doing about Elvis's wife, Priscilla, with the girl from Craft Legacy. Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, that's a good pick. I know people didn't like her in Godfather 3, but that was a favor to her old man. Anyway, Catherine Bigelow, definitely. Oh yes. Hurt Locker. Point Break. Point Break with with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze still got to be one of my favorite action movies. One of my favorite bank heist movies. I mean, come on, nobody beats Gary Busey as Pappas. Utah. Get me two meatball sandwiches. Oh God, I love a meatball sandwich. Why did that just get me thinking about that? Probably because I haven't had my breakfast yet. Yeah, but she's a fantastic, fantastic director. Chloe Zhao, yeah, she just won for No Man Land, and she did the Eternals movie. Yeah, she's got the acclaim. Ava DuVernay. Now that one, I don't know. She's been kind of hit or miss. She did Wrinkle in Time, right? And that one was, ooh, that was rough around the edges. That one was rough around the edges. I don't know if I can quite agree with that one. Patty Jenkins, she has had her hits. Like the first Wonder Woman, I liked. There were things about Wonder Woman 1984 that I liked, but then once you saw that really grotesque CGI cheetah fight at the end, again, see, now that's taking a wrong lesson from Hollywood. And Gal Gadot, the contrast there, perfect example of like she just did Heart of Stone, and they had a good climax fight in that. That was not CGI; it was just two people fighting. Um, Wonder Woman 1984 had a big CGI final fight, and that just didn't have any weight to it. It was kind of like, ew, guys, you paid money for these visual effects. Talking about cheap visual effects, DC has been known for it. Bad visual effects, because Cheetah for 1984 was terrible. Flashbacks, and all that stuff was terrible. Bad visual effects, yeah. Um, the theatrical version of Justice League with the CGI mustache out, like terrible, awful visual effects in the DCU. They've got to correct that up, and hopefully they start with Blue Beetle. But as we saw this morning, it's not looking good. And Greta Gerwig, yeah, of course, she's number one now because of Barbie. She's got the highest ranking movie as a female director, and I hope she gets a nomination for Barbie. That would be cool because it was well executed. Barbie, I would have given a full 2 points for directing. And what helps too is that she's an actor, so she understands the craft. So she had really good relationships with Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie, and you just hear good things, right? You don't hear a whole lot of negative stuff going on there. So I kind of agree with that list. I don't know what that guy was talking about, Randall Park, saying that Hollywood is taking the wrong lesson from Barbie. Are they? Are they? I don't know, man. I guess only time will tell. What it is interesting is worth the look for sure. Artglass says Magic 8 Ball sounds like a horror movie. I think it is supposed to be like a loose, like a dark comedy horror kind of thing. Artglass, I would hand over a few Mattel titles to A24 and Blumhouse. Yeah, let Jason Blum take care of that Magic 8 Ball. Maybe he is. Let's see if I can find something on that. Something about that sounds familiar. Magic 8 Ball movie. Andrea Maxwell. I know that they had the director attached to it, and I know uh, it was going to be kind of like a dark thing. Last we heard, Jimmy Warden from Cocaine Bear had come on board to write the screenplay, and Jeff Wadlow was announced to direct. Okay, Blumhouse also attached at the time, but we don't know if that remains the case. Okay, yeah, so that was, I did hear that for that Magic 8 Ball, that Blumhouse was supposed to take a little bit of that, but we'll see. It looks like it's still in limbo right now. The CGI in 84 was a poor merge, almost like cutting to a commercial. It was detached from the main body. Yeah, but it sucks because Kirsten Wiig is, I liked what they were doing with her in that. It's just, oh God, it's cringeworthy. It was like, and they had, like, 1984 was a movie that was delayed, and you had time to go back and, if you're going to spend money on it, refine those visual effects. And if it doesn't look good, then don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, write something else. Like, write it so that you're not just throwing money away. And that's what they did with that final sequence in 1984. But Disney's not, unaccustomed to throwing away money. Let's talk about Disney's Willow. Disney spent over $100 million on Willow series just to drop it after 6 months. Yeah, and again, this would be somebody's job at Lucasfilm, because Lucasfilm is Kathleen Kennedy, guys, and that's where Willow resides, under Kathleen Kennedy. $100 million greenlit, and she's not shown the door yet. My God. When Disney, and she's also responsible for the grotesque bomb that is the Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. So she's not had a good track record. And it's been going downhill. And you hear there's conflicts on Mandalorian with Jon Favreau and her. And here's who I would keep. I'd keep Favreau, and I'd keep Filoni. Oh my God. $100 million. Just it's mind-boggling how they just throw away money like that. There was nothing about the first Willow movie as well. I remember seeing it, and I was like, yeah, that was fun. But I was like, do we need to see a series about it? And if you are, do you need to spend that much money on it? It's vomitous. It's vomitous that they spent that much money just to back out of it later on. And it's kind of like, that should be somebody's job. It should be. When it was announced that Willow would be removed from Disney Plus, it was going to be removed. Like, they just want to scrub it out of existence and forget about it. John Kasdan reacted to the news and was surprisingly okay with it. I've been quiet on this news that Willow is leaving Disney Plus because I am kind of into it. I grew up at a time when Disney movies were periodically re-released and not available to own, and it made them more special. I worry about many things, but none of them are that Willow will never be available again, either on Disney Plus. So he thinks that'll be available later on down the line. Someplace else, you never know what could lead. Stranger things have happened. So grateful for all the love and enthusiasm. It truly keeps the worlds alive. It sucks. It sucks. But you got another crack at it. You did. Bifer there in the live chat says, hey, sadly, Warwick Davis was the weakest cast member of the Willow series. It had its moments, but it was a struggle to get through. And I heard that. I heard that he was like a side character almost. And that's guys, you make a series about Willow. We want to see the main character, right? We want to see Warwick Davis. You make a series about Boba Fett. We want Boba Fett to be the main character. What's going on here, right? For God's sakes. I don't get it. You make a series about Obi-Wan, and then Reva ends up getting the same amount of screen time. I don't understand it. Obi-Wan Kenobi director Deborah Chow on reaching all generations of Star Wars fans. It's like no other franchise. Well, no, it's not. It's exactly like every other franchise, because you got to appeal to the different generations, not just isolate one and say that's where we're going. No, you got to, all of it, guys, all of it. Oh, I've said that enough. Because Obi-Wan should have been, those scripts, no, those scripts should have been retooled, and it should have been like years of refinement, if another year at least of refinement before they greenlit that. And that Reva story should have been like on the chopping block. What is that? Does this have anything to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi or Darth Vader? Okay, so it's got a little bit of a tie-in for Darth Vader, but does it have a tie-in for Darth Vader and his storyline with Obi-Wan. No, it doesn't. She's just somebody who was at the Jedi Temple and has this beef with Darth Vader. It's kind of like, what the heck does that have to do with Obi-Wan? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's kind of like, my frustrations. Anyway, there's a big article up there on Hollywood Reporter with Deborah Chow talking about female directors. There's another one right there for you. How difficult was it to crack a story in between trilogies? And I started to read this article, this interview, and it became very apparent in the first couple of questions that she was just doing the PR answers. She wasn't giving that much depth, right? The biggest challenge of the whole project was that it had gone through so much development. Well, it didn't go through enough. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Did Alec Guinness, true from a certain point of view line about having told that Darth Vader murdered his father, give you license to imagine that there was more to most of what Obi-Wan said? And then she gives like the generic kind of thing here. George Lucas intended, I don't think anyone will ever know exactly what George Lucas intended or what the intention was with some lines. Yet, no, we know that. We know that he course corrected after the first one. Like, he knew that it was going to be like it was Anakin, but it was going to be different setup, right? There was so much more room for interpretation. Yeah. So then once I started to read that, I was kind of like, it's PR stuff, but it's kind of interesting. Carrie Fisher was one of a kind. Yeah, she talks about Carrie Fisher. Talks about the new younger Vivian Lyra Blair, who played the younger Leia. And I thought it was interesting. It's worth the look if you thought it was, but it's kind of like, yeah, what is Disney Star Wars doing, right? Should season 4 be turned into a movie? I'm just upset that a lot of people seem to be hung up with run times. Like I saw this other pundit the other day make this long-winded video about Ahsoka is only going to be 30-minute episodes. That means it's automatically bad. What? What does short run times have to do with anything? And why do you think all of a sudden when if a show is like an hour long, it's automatically good? Is it? Is it? We just saw the longest episode of season 3 of Mandalorian was all a side episode about one character betraying the doctor, right? And it's kind of like, is that what you want? Is that, do you think that makes it better? That the length has anything to do with it? It's like, but James, you hate movies that are over 2 hours. No, I don't hate movies that are over 2 hours. I prefer movies that are tight and like 90 minutes. That's the wheelhouse of what a normal movie should be. If you're caught in the idea, I guess I'm trying to use my own arguments against me here to say that it doesn't matter how long the TV series are. It's a TV show. It should be different. It should be different. I think the 40-minute mark is a sweet point. A 40-minute mark means that that's normally what TV shows on time TV are. They're usually around 43 minutes because they leave time in there for commercials to extend it out to that hour, right? So if it's 40 minutes, that's about the proper time for me. But anyway, should season 4 be turned into a movie? We've heard rumblings that this is the way that they're going to go, because season 3 was a little bit disappointing for some people. I didn't hate it. I mean, I'll watch The Mandalorian until it's run its course. I'm more or less looking forward to the Heir to the Empire movie that's going to tie everything together, like the Ahsoka storylines and the Mandalorian storylines. There were rumors that the story would switch more over to Bo-Katan than Mando, and I'd have no problem with that. Katie Sackhoff is awesome. So I think every time that she was on screen as Bo-Katan, I was like locked in. I'd have no problem with that. Master plan. Filoni does feel like he has a plan, which is good. So does Favreau. I don't know what would make me not enjoy it, especially as long as the audience is connecting with these characters. This feels like a really enjoyable moment, and I love the format of telling one chapter at a time and keeping the audience guessing, but also fulfilling certain expectations. That's what I like about Mandalorian. It gives you enough with each episode that it's like, here's the setup for this little thing. There's going to be a huge payoff for that little thing, but you know that there's still more coming on down the line. That's like, I want to see what happens to Grogu. Is somebody going to come pick him up, or are they going to get? Are they going to stay together? What's going on with his relationship with the rest of the Mandalorians and stuff like that? I was like, I like all that stuff. And as I said, if they switched course over to Bo-Katan, I'd be fine with that. If they got to somehow work Boba Fett back in, because I like Boba Fett too. And Temuera Morrison, he felt a little bit let down about the book of Boba Fett, right? How Mandalorian almost stole a little bit of the thunder away from him. Hourglass says, it just turned all of, I just turned all of Timothy Zahn's book into Star Wars movies. End of story. Yeah, me too. They're complaining that Ahsoka episodes are too short, although the pilot episode is 51 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. When we watch that next week, guys, remember there's 2 episodes, so we'll get through the first 2 episodes on next Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to it. And regardless of the runtime, I'm not one of those people like, who's like Angry Joe show complains about the runtimes as if it's as if that 51 minutes means that it's automatically better. I don't understand that connection in their head. Longer means better. I just don't understand it. It's like you're setting a base point with preconceived notions by saying a longer episode means that it's better. It's like, how about watching it first before saying that, oh, I'm so disappointed in the runtime? It's like, for God's sakes, guys. Anyway, talking about things that you can find here on the channel if I haven't done it already. Yeah, we watched Heart of Stone the other day. That's up on the channel. I think it's worth watching. My reviews for The Last Voyage of the Demeter are up. Meg 2. Talk to Me. Bird Box Barcelona Full Life Watch Along. I really like that movie. Of course, I have my reviews for Barbie and Oppenheimer and Mission Impossible are still up on the channel. Of course, you know we do the movie news there throughout the week. And come join me on all the other social media handles. I have to update these bars here. I got to put in the Twitch because we did some Twitch yesterday. We did some Street Fighter. And I'm going to do some Street Fighter again this afternoon on Twitch before I go see Blue Beetle. So come pay attention to that. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do some Street Fighter. I do want to get into, I have to figure out where I'm going to squeeze in Final Fantasy VII, because once I start that, those sessions are going to be like 3-hour sessions, because once I get into Final Fantasy, it's something that I just want to be able to play and play and play. All right. So we'll have to see when I can fit that into my schedule. All right. Moving in. James, come on. Yeah, I still got a little bit of rust on there. AI and its threat to Hollywood. This is an existential threat. Will AI really eliminate actors and ruin Hollywood? Well, that's the concept. That's the premise of the question, right? Will AI eliminate actors? No. Now, I think AI, they will try. Studios will try, but we're smart enough. We know that when we're seeing like a CGI character, we know that. They haven't defined that yet. Quite to the point where it's kind of like seamless. We know that when a CGI character is standing next to a real life character, once that barrier is crossed, then it's possible that you can eliminate actors. Because then why wouldn't you want to have like a younger Clint Eastwood playing Wolverine, right? Because you could make that happen through AI. As long as you get permission from like the actor's estate. But it's going to be kind of like, that'll be part of the contracts that you sign going into movies. That, oh, we filmed a certain amount of scenes with you. We own your visage for this movie. There's going to be stipulations in the contracts that'll be saying, well, no, you can't use my visage for a sequel. You actually have to make me come in and film these parts. That'll be part of the contracts going forward. So will that ruin Hollywood? executives and studios are going to try to make it ruin Hollywood, but I don't think it will. And I think eventually, as long as they can use those tools, like using scans of people's faces, it'll help for making budgets a little bit cheaper when that technology is able to be utilized at a much cheaper cost. It'll be like, okay, we need a pickup shot. We don't need to fly in Johnny Depp from the UK to come over here just to shoot a few scenes. We got enough archive footage that we can just emulate his face to come in. We'll get him to go into a booth over there and do some ADR, some dialogue that'll be put in over later, and that kind of stuff, right? Like that's the positive way of using AI. But let's just take a look at what some other people are saying here. AI can create a convincing simulation of a human actor. Not yet. Not yet. There's certain things that they can do by putting mouths on and stuff. Even the de-aging, it's not quite there yet, right? So I stress that this is an existential threat, says Bateman, Justine Bateman, who is an advisor to SAG-AFTRA on AI issues. And if they can do this with actors, they can do this with writers, directors, and cinematographers. Everyone will be replaced with Frankenstein spoonfuls of our own work. Well, again, as I said, you got to be putting those stipulations in the contracts and stuff like that so that they can't do that, right? When it comes to Hollywood, the sunrise of AI-enabled content creation platforms has only widened. Guys, and it's like when you're watching Twitch or you're watching Facebook shorts or reels, and you watch something and it's got like that AI generated voice, I usually just swipe away from those. I prefer somebody like me actually taking the time, my time, to set up the camera, do the voiceover, and give you guys the info straight up like that. I don't know. That's just my preference. So worrying about like a complete AI made project given to us in the big theaters, it's kind of like, that's a little bit further away. I don't think we have to worry about that. Summer has been emblazoned with anti-AI slogans like AI is not art, AI is not taking your dumb notes. Well, I know that there was that backlash for that AI created opening sequence for Secret Invasion. There was some backlash for that, but I don't know. It's fun to imagine a generative AI scriptwriter, but it's absolutely no interest in that because it's lousy, says Monica Landers, founder of StoryFit. It can't hold on the pacing to reveal the plot. It's not made for character growth. It's empty right now. Well, again, that'll get refined. It'll be up to you guys if you want to watch a completely AI generated script with AI generated characters. It'll be kind of like, just don't watch it. Again, it's kind of like you tell the studios what you want to see with your own money, with your own currency, right? James Cameron, the filmmaker behind AI thriller The Terminator, says, I just don't believe that a disembodied mind that's just regurgitating what other embodied minds have said will have something that's going on to move the audience. Well, yeah, that too. Because it's just using samples. It's just emulating things. It's not waking up in the morning and saying, let's make a movie where a typewriter turns into a big bug that gives the guy some psychedelic drugs. It's kind of like, what? Like, do you think a computer can come up with that? Do you think a computer could come up with, say, like the drill sergeant Lee there from Full Metal Jacket, in that whole opening sequence of him walking in and berating the entire platoon, right? In the opening sequence, with because all of that was, a lot of that was AI, because some of it was written in the script, but he was a drill sergeant in real life, so he knew some of the past ones that he's used, and he used his own experiences to augment that sequence, right? Ryan Reynolds, notorious on Deadpool, doing like ad lib working with a scene. Um, you won't get that with AI. So, but that doesn't mean that ad-libbing on scene, on set, and crafting and working with a scene isn't going to be gone. It's just the script was made by a computer. Yeah, I don't think it's as close as some people will say, but there are definitely concerns that I would have. We've democratized computer science, Wang told Rupturous Crowd. Generative AI is the new killer app. Yeah, there's definitely concerns. I'm not saying that there isn't. I just don't quite think that we're there just yet. Hourglass there's got some points. Let me see if I can. Um, they're complaining that Ahsoka episodes are too short. Oh, yeah. Film fans support and buy in movies because of their love of actors involved. Yeah, that too. It will be a colder industry without human connection. To live and adventure vicariously through film stars is escapism. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Um, and there's going to be things that like it will affect VFX for sure. Marvel VFX artists confirm that they will vote to unionize later this month. Well, that's good because you hear we've all heard the horror stories that Marvel and Disney are terrible when it comes to working with visual effects houses with the constant last minute changes and deadlines and saying, well, if you can't do it, then I'm going to go out and get somebody else who can, and they've got to work 20-hour shifts a day to get that work done, but it'll be cheaper. It's like, no, unionize and say no. You got to. I agree with that one. And there will be unions that will it's unions that will help protect these visual effects houses from AI taking over that as well, even though AI does help hone the tools that are being used with the computer, being able to just look at an image and say, well, we're using this part and that part and remove that background from this and have it perfectly cut out and stuff like that. And there's AI will help us as a tool, right? That's the way I see. And keep with the unions because that's what's going to help. All right. Moving on. Jamie Dornan, Superman. Did you know this? Jamie Dornan wore his own Superman suit to Man of Steel audition. So I guess he did it. He did audition for Man of Steel. I don't know why they got a picture of him with the beard on there. That's hilarious. Uh, Somebody will have to use AI technology to get that out of there. All right. The only one I auditioned for is Superman, Jamie Dornan said. That was way back when Henry Cavill got cast. That's probably 12 years ago or something. He says, quote, I wore my own suit there. Was it a mistake? There were Superman pajamas. There weren't an actual suit. I remember an early audition for that. I got nowhere near putting the real suit on. I've had meetings with studio heads that do those things and would talk about it, but I never got in any deep I never got deep in any audition process for them. So he did audition, and we just saw him in Heart of Stone, Jamie Dornan. So there's a headline that's going on out there. Could you imagine him as a Man of Steel? I think he would have made it an okay Clark Kent. I don't think he would have been a proper Superman, though. I don't know. Interesting, though. Just a headline worth taking a look at. Twisters is coming out. Twister 2. So the original director of Twister says that it can never be made or remade. Sorry. Jan de Bont made the first one, right? Well, Twisters isn't going to be a remake, though. It's going to be a loose sequel about the daughter of these two, from what I understand, who's also a storm chaser. So they're not remaking it. Speaking with Inverse, Jan de Bont said, when things fell off, when things fell from the sky. There were real things falling from a helicopter. If you film a car escaping a tornado in a hailstorm, it was real ice that came at us. It's a movie that cannot be remade, that would never, ever happen again. Oh, maybe because of the threats, right? Because of, you can't throw ice now down on the road and stuff like that, because that's a huge safety factor. Maybe that's why he's saying it, because now they would be using computers to say, well, okay, when that big huge house rolls across the street, or that big tractor falls down, because that would, a lot of those falling stunts were practical. They did drop those things. Maybe that's what the angle that he's saying. He's not talking about the story, which I thought the headline was saying. Ooh, the story can never be remade. Well, of course it can. But, oh yeah, thinks its practical effects work make it impossible for it to be a success. And that's the other thing too, is that we can tell when it's just CGI characters on screen. We can tell when it's a CGI background and stuff, right? Every shot was a fortune. It would take 3 days to transfer all that information onto film. Right now it's fast, but in the beginning it was super slow. We had to be careful to get shots done before the movie opened. So we're talking about computer effects for Twister. So he's not talking about the story. He's just talking about like the practicality of the effects, which I still appreciate. Guys, you've seen in my reactions, when I see a practical stunt, I always appreciate it. And I always make it a point to say, yes, kudos, good work. Because that stunt work is slowly being one thing that is being taken over by AI, taken over by computer and technology, right? Well, why are we going to flip a car when we can just do that in the computer? Why are we going to hire a stuntman to do that when we can just have a CGI rendered character fall out of a plane? It's kind of like, I don't know. I appreciate filmmakers like Christopher Nolan or Jan de Bont there that wants to use still a lot of practical effects. All right, guys, we're almost through the show today. Let's take a look at some hit or miss headlines, and then we'll call it a day. 10 most debated movie moments in history. According to MovieWeb, most debated movie moments. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I see what they're doing here. Titanic, the size of Rose's door. Yeah, they said that, what was it? Mythbusters tried to put 2 people on the size of the door or something like that. They still would have been suffering from hypothermia. I still think, I agree that Jack, story-wise, it made sense for him to die there, but could he have survived? Could there have been a way? I still think that there could have been, like, if she just got on the boat and not jumped back on the Titanic when she was put on the lifeboat, if she did that, then they both would have survived. But it was romantic, Jamie. It was James. It was romantic, James. It was like a Shakespearean tragedy. Don't you see the art there? Yeah, I see that. Inception, the ending. What are we? Well, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, a lot of people find that a contentious thing, right? Did it fall over or didn't it, right? American Psycho, fantasy or murder? I believe that it was fantasy. He was only murdering people in his mind. And that was like, that's what I liked about the film, is that American Psycho, you think psycho killer, right? And you think that he's really murdering all these people. But I liked how it accented that in the movie. And a lot of that had to do with the portrayal from Christian Bale. Like, I killed this person, and he's like cracking as a human being, right? But he's like, no, I'm sitting right here with him. It's all in his head. And that's why he's psycho, because he's delusional. He's creating all these things in his head. That's what I really thought. Shutter Island, the ending. I don't know if that's contentious. I thought that was pretty straightforward. And again, what's with all the Leonardo DiCaprio stuff? Gone Girl, Amy versus Nick. Was that contentious? I think that's one of Fincher's better films. I really enjoy that movie. Man of Steel, Superman killing Zod. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. I I just once wanted to hear Michael Shannon say, kneel before Zod. Why couldn't you give me that? Like when he was throwing down there and says, oh, you really want to fight for these humans? I'm going to take over this world and everybody will kneel before Zod. Like, why couldn't you do that line? I mean, come on. Just give it to us as the fans. Anyway, yeah, it was contentious that he killed him in there at the end, but he kind of had to. It's kind of like, yeah. Man of Steel had a lot of problems with the script. It did. It was not, by far, it was nowhere near the perfect movie as some people would have you say. Parasite, Ki-Woo's Dream. I only saw Parasite once, so I'm not too familiar with that one, guys. At the end of the film, the deeds of Ki-Woo and his family who con their way to the wealthy Parker home are finally out in the open, and his father evidently is trapped in the secret basement. The camera cuts to Ki-Woo's figment of imagination, where he turns into some big shot and earns enough to buy Parker's house. Oh, was it? Was that the ending? Huh. The Dark Knight Rises. Where is Batman? Well, he's out with Selena Kyle, living his life. I believe that ending. Like he faked his death, right? I don't see why that was contentious. Black Swan, Nina's death. I need to watch Black Swan again because that one was really awesome. And yeah, it was Natalie Portman's best work. What are they saying? That did she die or not? What audiences have debated is whether Nina succumbs to death at the end after achieving the satisfaction of delivering a perfect performance, or does she live on to tell the tale? Well, I think that the director left that open for interpretation, right? That was Darren Aronofsky. He likes to do that, right? He did that with Wrestler. Like, did he die jumping off the ropes at the end? Because the doctor said that if he did that he would. Hereditary, the ending. what was uh, what was up for debate about that? Yeah, she gets possessed. Uh, Payman, was it Payman? The demon goes into the body. Yeah, Hereditary is something that is aging like a fine wine. It's just like you think about that story and how well crafted that was. Ari Aster. Like there's stuff that just glossed over me the first time I watched it. Like originally Payman was inside the younger sister, but the demon doesn't like to be in females, so they made it so that it would go into the son, and that's why the head got taken off this daughter. It's just like, wow. Yeah, I think it's great. I don't see anything to complain about there. Huh. Well, I guess that's kind of a hit. That was worth talking about. Next, the Curse of Willow song trailer. Karen Lamb's experimental horror film is coming to digital. Well, what's experimental about this? Experimental silent film. Okay, so Curse of Willow song seems to have turned out pretty well. Is it silent? No, it's not silent. It's black and white. I don't even know what the heck this is about. What is this? Curse of Willow song. Give me a synopsis here. Curse of Willow song. A recovering addict and parolee struggles to start over. Willow finds herself in a concrete wasteland. Facing isolation and displacement, shadows creep into Willow's mind and her nightmares become real. Okay, so she's a recovering addict. We saw that a little bit there in the trailer. It's definitely stylized because of the black and white. I got no problem with that. It looks like more of a character piece. I got no problem with that either. Like a psychological character piece. Is she losing her mind in this warehouse environment. She locked in there, kind of like rooms or whatever. Back rooms, is that what that's called? Huh. Megalodon, the Frenzy trailer, the Asylum mockbuster, sets loose 5 giant sharks. Oh, God. Now, don't expect Shakespeare from this. Let's pull that up on YouTube. I haven't screened these trailers, so I just want to see a sample of the acting. Okay, so that's a CGI. Ooh, Eric Roberts is in this. With some questionable effects. But you know what? Even Meg 2 had some questionable effects. Okay. Yeah. I like Eric Roberts. That sucks that he's got to take jobs like this, but hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get some money, right? Yeah, that doesn't look good. But you know, it's like a mock blockbuster, right? So they know that they don't have enough money to do it, so they might as well make it look a little bit cheesy. Megalodon, the Frenzy. Huh. Um, I was underwhelmed by the first Asylum Megalodon movie. It lacked so much shark fun and carnage, but after seeing this trailer for the third movie, I'm fully locked in back in the series. Oh, are you? Why? Is it because of Eric Roberts or is it because of the bad visual effects? So it's a bit blurry, right? Oh, so they come there to give birth. Whatever. Next. Oh, yes. This storyline was there's been like even in the bigger news cycles like CNN and stuff, they've been covering the blind side, how the real guy has issues with the movie. I guess he had a lawsuit against it, even more fake than it did before. Because they said in the movie, I remember this with Sandra Bullock, that the guy had trouble reading or something like that. And he's like, I knew how to read. Why did you guys say that? It's having trouble affecting me in my professional career kind of thing, right? I didn't get too much into it, but I thought I'd pull it just in case I wanted to say something about it, just to acknowledge it. Timothée Chalamet visited the Barbie set and told Greta Gerwig, I should have been in this movie. She responded, I know, why aren't you? Well, yeah, you could totally see Timothée Chalamet as a Ken, right? Hey, you know they're gonna make a Barbie too. You could have him in there and have who else said that he wanted to be in a Barbie movie? Cillian Murphy from Oppenheimer. He said he wanted to be a Ken. Have him in there as well. Why not? Invite everybody along. Um, Fascinating. That one's fascinating. Blindside was a good watch. I liked it because of Sandra. You guys know I'm a Sandra Bullock fan. All right. What's next? Nothing. I got nothing. Well, let's go over to the Twitterverse and round up because we are just over an hour now. More strike stuff. Fargo season 5. Natalie Portman and Jude Law to be honored at Deauville American Film Festival. And they won't be in attendance. No, they won't be because of the strike. Godzilla spin-off series Monarch Legacy of Monsters stars Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell. Cool. That's cool. Kurt Russell. Always like that. Who will play same character over a period of 50 years as a family searches for the truth about their father's involvement in the secretive Monarch. That sounds awesome. So the son is going to be playing the younger version of him? You can totally see it there a little bit, right? That's cool. I like that. And we were just talking about that the other day, right? About what happened to the Tom Hiddleston, because he was going to get recruited into Monarch. So if they're going to have a series all about Monarch, could there be a way for Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston to be woven back into the storyline somehow? The series so far has Anna Sawai, Kiersey Clemens, Ren Watabe, Mari Yamamoto, Anders Holm, Joe Tippett, and Eliza Lasowski. Well, that's cool. Kurt and Wyatt Russell. That adds a little bit of weight to the casting there, I would say. First look at Godzilla spin-off series Monarch Monsters Live on Apple TV Plus. Oh, so that's actual footage. So we're going to actually see Godzilla in this series on Apple TV Plus. I'm going to maybe have to sign up for Apple TV Plus, guys. If this is going to be on there, we will be doing full watch-alongs for this. This has got my attention. And you know what made me get the attention? Was Kurt Russell. Not a CGI big monster. It's and the concept of this character being, his story being told over a different generation. That's what got me involved. The Curse, Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder will premiere at New York Film Festival. Fielder and Stone play married entrepreneurs who flip houses and convert them into eco-friendly homes for struggling residents of Espanola, New Mexico, for a reality-style TV show. Okay. Foe, Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal are given the chance to transcend their climate change-destroyed world in a science fiction drama set in 2065. Well, that's cool. Is that what that movie's about? That doesn't look very sci-fi-ish. Paul Mescal, his name is going up. He's going, once Gladiator 2 comes out, everybody will know who Paul Mescal is, right? Even he was nominated for an actor award, and still people don't know exactly who Paul Mescal is, but he's getting the notoriety. Josh O'Connor, Sowers, oh, yeah, I don't need that. Saoirse Ronan. Series finale trailer for Riverdale. The Kitchen, Daniel Kaluuya. Will premiere at the London Film Festival. The gap between rich and poor stretching to all limits. Happy 80th birthday to Robert De Niro. Oh, was his birthday today or yesterday? Heat is a masterpiece. Great actor all around. Yeah, Godfather 2, Taxi Driver, Casino, Goodfellas. I think that's The Irishman right there. I even like him in comedies. Meet the Parents. I actually liked him as Frankenstein in Kenneth Branagh's version of Frankenstein. I like that one. Happy birthday to Austin Butler. We're going to see him next in Dune Part 2. He was good as Elvis. Alan Harper, described as a passion project for Rafe, which has been working on for years. Huh. Jamie Dornan audition for Superman. Yeah, we talked about that. Coraline. Jolo. All right. Guys, that's pretty much all I got in the can for today. I don't think there's anything more. Refresh my YouTube page to see if the trailer is dropped. I don't think that it has. Oh, yeah, there's a Chucky Season 3 teaser. Oh, and there's a report that Jon Favreau is no longer at Lucasfilm, but that's just speculation. Jeremy Johns has his review up for Blue Beetle. So that Blue Beetle, that embargo, like when did it drop? It must have dropped last night, right, or something. I like Robert De Niro in A Bronx Tale. Yeah, he was good in that too. Let me refresh this, see if it. Oh, it dropped. It dropped from 82% to 81, but it's still certified fresh. Well, guys, I'll be seeing it in about 4 hours, so there you go. I'm going to have a nice bag of popcorn. I'll be watching Blue Beetle. That's it for me today, guys. What do you guys think about that? Join us later on this afternoon on Twitch for some Street Fighter. And then I'll be out of here to watch that. Yeah. I got to update this graphic bar to put on Twitch, guys, because we got Twitch is going to be going big with a whole bunch of stuff. Twitch is going to become like my playground of just turning on the camera and me playing the video games, me playing my guitar, and all those stuff will be put out onto separate YouTube channels. All right, there you go. Go see Blue Beetle. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and join us tomorrow for my full review of Blue Beetle. See you next time here on Mirror Domains. Oh yeah, my straight out of the theater reaction will be up around 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish for Blue Beetle.